You need to have more patience. You're young. The way you feel right now is how you are going to wish you felt 10 years from now. I'm 38 years old. Your 20s go by in the blink of an eye. It's good to feel like things are moving fast. It's great to feel like you need to make decisions left and right. But sometimes if you just look left and right and left and right and left and right because you have no patience, you're gonna miss what's right in front of you. You need to slow down. You need to have moments where you appreciate the journey that is your 20s. Soak up the moments. I'm having a great day today, and write that down. It's gonna help you remember the moments you're gonna wish you had. And if you think you found a shortcut to success, think long and hard about what the repercussions might be for that shortcut. You have a lot of life to live. This is going to be your biggest and best decade ever. So soak it up and use it wisely.
Life is what happens to you when you're busy making other plans, and this is it. This is your life. You're no longer preparing for the life that's to come ahead. You're in it. You're living that life, and you have to make the decisions and design your life to be the way you want it to be. Both diet, exercise, all good things. And the idea is that as you get older, your body's metabolism slows down, and if you're not careful, your body could start to break down extremely quickly. The best way to deal with this is to build exercise into your daily routine. And so for example, for me, every time before I shower, I like to put in an exercise routine like a jog or a workout session, and just build that into my daily routine, into my identity. Exercise that you only do once a month or once a week is not going to be as effective as if you build in a habit. And really the habits are formed by identity. So you've got to make a conscious effort to choose who you want to be, adopt that lifestyle, and that will have long-lasting changes.
I was really a people pleaser, especially when it came to my parents. If my parents wanted me to do something, then I would do it. I wouldn't really question it. And if my own personal desires did not intersect with theirs, then I always took their route. I think that really backfired for me. And I feel like a lot of you guys watching this video, you do a lot to appease your parents. I think a lot of you guys are doing too much. You're not listening to yourself, you're listening more to others. For me, my parents wanted me to graduate from college, get a degree in a respectable field, and pursue a traditional 9-to-5 career that, they are so familiar with. There's literally nothing in the cards about entrepreneurship or business. So I actually didn't even think that it was possible to become an entrepreneur. And that's just because I listened too closely to my parents, who have really great 9-to-5 jobs, but don't really have experience with, entrepreneurship. A lot of you guys will grow up to want to live a life that's a lot different than that of your parents. And so if you think about it, it doesn't really make sense for you to always listen to your parents if they don't have the exact life that you want. And when we push our own thoughts, desires, and passions away, I think that allows us to build a lot of resentment. Confidence is so important. I think a lot of people in their 20s struggle with confidence because they always think that other people are looking at them. They're always comparing themselves to other people. And yeah, I definitely experienced that, but the truth is that doesn't do anything for you. It's all negative, and you deserve to have more confidence. So for me, when I graduated from UCLA, I was really not confident because I compared myself to my peers, all of whom got really great jobs at accounting firms, making 6 figures, all that stuff. I was definitely scraping by. I barely had any money. And when you compare yourself to other people that are in a different place of their journey, that's really, really bad. So you guys probably think that every time you go outside, there's some type of spotlight that's pointed directly at you, and everyone is sort of judging what you're doing. I definitely felt that way in my 20s. I even still struggle with that right now. But every single year, as I'm growing older and older, that spotlight gets dimmer and dimmer until eventually someday I'm gonna realize that there was no spotlight in the first place. And the earlier you realize there's no spotlight, the more things you can do without being scared of what the outcomes are, without being scared of any judgment from others, and the higher your confidence is going to be.
Most of the people who are in my tribe, they're on my team. It's this really remarkable, amazing energy that is in my life now. Honestly, it feels like season 1 of Peaky Blinders, where the house just has like this rock and roll vibe to it. Everyone's just serious and working towards something. And every day we're plotting on how to take over Minneapolis and the world at large. We're like Robin Hood and his band of merry thieves. My biggest insight from this season of my life is the realization that I've actually been incredibly lonely for the last 10 years. I mean, I've had roommates in the past, I've had girlfriends, I've had people come in and out of my life, I've interacted with the world, I've gone on a lot of dates over the last 10 years, but I've been really lonely. And the reason for this is because I didn't have a brotherhood. I didn't have a tribe. You can have friends, you can have like connections, you can chat with some random dude at a bar, but it doesn't feel like your tribe. It doesn't feel like you're surrounded by men who would elevate you. And having that in your life is really just so powerful. It is this deeply motivating, energizing, invigorating thing where you suddenly start to believe that so much in life, it's actually possible. Maybe you put in a 10-hour day at work, 12-hour day, and you're just feeling a little burned out. You kind of want to call it quits with life and work for that day. And then your buddy just listens to your problems, listens to what's been going down. And he says, you know what? Put on some nice clothes. We're going out tonight, whatever it might be. This last weekend, one of my coaching clients and newfound friends, Evan, he visited me and he pointed out the same thing, where in his late 20s and beyond, he had to sort of seek out men who were doing badass things, who were impressive, who were getting after it in life, and who could be a part of his life. And this is the hardest thing to do, but you need that tribe that just speaks to you. You need the bros in your life. It's like the best feeling when you have guys you can lean on.
So one of the biggest advantages in your life is that if you give yourself a super long time horizon to do things, you're gonna operate at a much better level and you're gonna make the right decisions. For example, if you wanted to get really physically fit, well, that would be really difficult to do within 30 days, but all of a sudden, if you change your time horizon to 1 or 2 years, you actually might start making lifestyle choices that will actually get you physically fit in that time span. You're gonna put less pressure on yourself and you're more likely to hit your goal of being physically fit. Think about this another way in terms of money. So if you were trying to make as much money as possible in 30 days, you actually might compromise your values and you might actually take some actions that aren't aligned with your long-term vision. The easiest example I can think of is someone who wants to start drop shipping as a business. Now, drop shipping as a business model can make you a lot of money within 30 days. If you don't know what it is, it's usually where you set up a website, you sell a product directly from China, and then you profit the difference in the margin by sending that product straight from China to your end customer. But in my opinion, drop shipping is just a mere means to prove out a business model because most dropshipping products will die within 6 to 12 months. Now, if you were thinking on a longer term time horizon, perhaps you would actually find a better way to source the product, especially source it within your home country. You would then be able to build a real brand, and maybe you can even differentiate on the product with some innovation. Having a company with a strong brand and a competitive advantage will allow you to stay making money for a long period of time, and it will actually extend the runway of your dropshipping business model past 6 to 12 months. And by pursuing a long-term time horizon, you might actually be willing to take short-term losses in favor for long-term gains later on, and that's something that someone who has a short-term mindset simply just will not do.
If it's worth doing, it's worth doing well. This is a really great saying. I shortcutted so much stuff when I was younger. I just wanted to get it done, get it done, get it done, rather than doing it well. There's kind of two ways you can take the saying, which is why I like it so much, is that if it's worth doing, it's worth doing well. Because many times I was doing things that were not worth doing. I didn't have the time to do things well because I was doing so many things that were not worth doing. The first criteria is, what problem are we solving? What am I hoping to accomplish? Is this worth doing at all? Because if it is worth doing, then I have to understand that to do it, right, to do it well, it's gonna take this much time. Now, given that, is it still worth doing? And if it passes that test of A, being worth doing in the long haul, and because it is worth doing well, then it gives us this lens through which to see the activities we do so that we can prioritize the things that will make us the most money or get us closer to the goals we have. And so younger me had more energy than me does now. I make way more money than younger me did. And it's because I do fewer things and I do different things than I did then. And now, if I write a book, I'll take a year on writing the book, because if it's worth doing, it's worth doing well. Because I understand that taking 1 year today will mean that that book might sit and sell and distribute itself to millions of people over the next 50 years or 100 years or after I'm dead, compared to me just putting words on a page that are pretty good and then shipping it. And I think the vast majority of people don't get the difference between good and great. The ocean between good work and great work is vast. It's 5 times, 10 times the work to go from something good to something great, which is why you have to be really selective about the few things you choose to do that are worth doing, and in being worth doing well.